It is anti-Semitic to claim that Jews are monolithic. It is anti-Semitic to claim that Jews all exclusively care about and defend Israel. Okay, Jerry, yeah, this was really funny.
Bougie.
Ben and Jerry's is going to sue over Palestine, their corporation that they're under. Ben and Jerry's, by the way, owned by Jewish people, for the record. Like, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, both Ben and Jerry are Jewish. They've also been a long supporter of BDS.
Ice cream company Ben and Jerry's is suing its parent company, the British multinational consumer goods giant Unilever. Why? Well, Ben and Jerry's claims that Unilever silenced it from speaking out in support of Palestine. It also claims that Unilever threatened to dismantle its board and sue board members over the issue. Unilever rejects these claims, but in the lawsuit, Ben & Jerry's says it has tried to call for a ceasefire, it has tried to support safe passage for Palestinian refugees to the UK, it has tried to back US student protests on Gaza, and it tried to advocate for the Biden administration to stop sending military aid to Israel. But in each area, it claims to have been effectively muzzled by Unilever. Tensions have been simmering between the ice cream manufacturer and its parent company for years. In 2021, Ben & Jerry's tried to take a stand on illegal Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank. Ben & Jerry's said it would stop selling its products there, as doing so was inconsistent with its brand values. So Unilever decided to sell its Ben & Jerry's business in Israel and the West Bank to Israeli licensee Avi Zinger, allowing marketing in the West Bank and Israel to continue. Ben & Jerry's responded by suing Unilever in 2022 to try to block the sale. That 2022 lawsuit was settled in the same year, and the terms of the settlement were not made public. But in their new lawsuit, Ben & Jerry's is now accusing Unilever of breaching the terms of the 2022 settlement. The brand says Peter Culver, Unilever's head of ice cream, that is a job, voiced concerns about, quote, the continued perception of anti-Semitism regarding Ben & Jerry's speaking up for Gazan refugees. The 2022 settlement also required Unilever to make a $5 million payment that Ben & Jerry's could donate to human rights groups of its choice. Ben & Jerry's picked Jewish Voice for Peace and the San Francisco Bay Area chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, amongst others. According to the lawsuit, Unilever wasn't happy with Ben & Jerry's choosing a Jewish Voice for Peace, saying it was, quote, too critical of the Israeli government. Now, relations, amongst others. According to the lawsuit, Unilever wasn't happy with Ben & Jerry's choosing a Jewish Voice for Peace, saying it was, quote, too critical of the Israeli government. Now, Unilever owns plenty of popular household brand names.
By the way, like they've always been fantastic. They're so sick. Like, look, man, I got so much love for you. I got so much love for you if you have been keeping up with this cause for years and years, and Ben & Jerry's is like that, they're fantastic. They're incredible. I just wish that their ice cream was like lower calorie, I think. Dumbass Fuff unfollow. What? Why? Damn, dude. My man got so mad that I said Ben & Jerry's. I wish it had like lower calorie options as well. Like real low calorie options. Like I've seen their lower calorie options. They're still pretty high calorie, but it just wouldn't taste good. If they did, but their stuff is so good. Yeah, here are the 4 anti-Semitic posts that Ben & Jerry's said its parent company ordered it not to publish, okay? Here are the 4 posts Ben & Jerry's said its parent company ordered for it not to publish. Ben & Jerry's filed a lawsuit against its parent company Unilever on Thursday. It claims that Unilever stopped it from making 4 public statements supporting Palestinians. Unilever rejects the claim, saying it would defend its case very strongly. Ben & Jerry's taken legal action against its parent company. Here are the posts from the lawsuit. December 2023, ceasefire call. Ben & Jerry's claims it told Unilever in December 2023 they planned on issuing a statement calling for peace and a permanent ceasefire in Gaza. At the time, Israel was several weeks into a sprawling invasion of Gaza, retaliation for the October 7th terrorist attack by Hamas. Ben & Jerry's calls for peace and a permanent and immediate ceasefire, the statement read. May 2024, visas for refugees. Ben & Jerry's tried to issue another statement in May 2024 through its social activism managers in Europe. This one called for legal immigration pathway to the UK for Palestinians fleeing the war in Gaza, the lawsuit said. Just like the UK did for Ukrainians, we asked for the government to urgently create a visa scheme allowing Palestinians to reunite safely with their loved ones in the UK. June 2024, supporting campus protests. Ben & Jerry's said it intended to support pro-Palestinian college protesters in the U.S. by posting a public statement in June. It said the post would support their First Amendment rights, but the lawsuit did not include its text. In September, Ben & Jerry's sought to endorse Bernie Sanders' resolution calling for legislation blocking $20 billion in arms sales to Israel. We urge you to join us in calling on the Senate to pass their Sanders resolution and halt an additional $20 billion in military aid to Israel, the statement said. I like that people... My point is this, okay? People talk about how wokeism is dead, cancel culture is dead. We hate these identity politics. But if it's serving the interest of like reactionary goals, reactionary agendas, if it's serving the interest of like defending an apartheid state, defending a genocide, or silencing critics of a genocide in an apartheid state, then everybody loves it, okay? People use it, they love it, they don't even talk about it. Dropsite is reporting that Israel is systematically raping men, women, and children in Gaza. Holocaust history professor Amos Goldberg says, Professor of Holocaust history Goldberg condemns all violence against Jews, but according to him, the riots in Amsterdam have nothing to do with the pogrom. The problem is the genocide in Gaza. You know what's really crazy? Remember the J Street poll that I showed you of American Jews and their opinion on ceasefire in Gaza and even denying arms transfers? American Jews overwhelmingly support that. Okay? Overwhelmingly. Over-fucking-whelmingly. And there are Jews in the Netherlands that are protesting against Israel right now, and it still doesn't matter. Okay? It doesn't matter. It's crazy. It's like we are not listening to anybody on this issue. It's like people are of one mind. They're like, nope, doesn't matter. Don't give a fuck. Have you considered that your takes might be wrong? Yes, my takes are wrong, even though they're in line with virtually every Holocaust and genocide scholar. My takes are wrong, even though it's identical to the assessment made by every international instrument of justice. My takes are probably wrong because I'm against the American State Department's position on Israel. That's it. That's all you're saying. Everyone else be damned. American Jews are in alignment with me in overwhelming numbers on this issue. Okay? But it doesn't matter. And this is something that I've said from the first day onward. I said this. I said, if every single American Jew tomorrow turned anti-Zionist overnight, okay, it still would not change America's calculations with Israel because Israel has nothing to do with Judaism, okay? It does not. It is presented as that, it is packaged as that, it is sold as that, and it is defended as the single most important thing for Jews, and that all Jews are monolithic in their understanding and examination of Israel, but it's not correct. Okay, it's simple propaganda, and it's effective propaganda, but it's propaganda nonetheless, and it's incorrect. It is anti-Semitic to claim that Jews are monolithic. It is anti-Semitic to claim that Jews all exclusively care about and defend Israel. Okay, and woke people do this as well. Woke people do this all the time. They also do this. And you know who else does it? Even more frequently? Anti-Semites. This is why I never, when people try to do 4chan memes where they say Zionist occupied government or Zog or whatever the fuck, I don't let that shit slide in here at all. Because I also understand that there are, and I've said this time and time again, there are plenty of people, there are definitely a non-zero number of anti-Semitic people that have attached themselves to anti-Zionism. This is true, 100%. And if I catch you doing something like that, I ban you. It's that simple. And it's always been that way. I use it as an educational opportunity to explain to people why this is wrong thinking. But if you were to tell me oh, do you feel like you're maybe in the wrong? Do you feel like you're just wrong and the American State Department is right on this? No, I don't. And the question, I guess, remains, which State Department? Because there are other organs of within the American State Department that also are in alignment with me. It's just at the tippy top, they do not care. Yeah. This is one of the most revealing aspects of being pro-Israel. Ben Shapiro, all the way back in 2015, after Ann Coulter says some horrific shit that is deeply anti-Semitic about Jewish people, Ben Shapiro tweeted, Ann Coulter tweets regarding Jews awful, nonsensical. Ann Coulter is also super pro-Israel and has always been so I won't lose sleep. Was State Department aligned with Hassan? No, it's not that they align with me. It's that, like, U.S. aid, for example, obviously makes proper assessments on how dire the situation is on the ground. And they send those memos all the way up to Anthony Blinken, who then refuses to recognize it. He just refuses to acknowledge it. You can now report people for terrorism now on Twitch. What does that even mean on an internet platform? I don't know, but I do know what that is going to look like. Any sort of conversation that talks about like militancy, resistance groups, any sort of conversation that you could have under normal academic circumstances, okay, about how terror organizations are designated as terror organizations, what the political application and the practical application of the designation of terror looks like, okay? All of that stuff is now not allowed to be talked about. That's it. All of that stuff is, nope, can't do it, not allowed. It's crazy. Just don't be unaligned with U.S. foreign policy and you'll be fine. That's the message. Exactly. Any contingency plan if Twitch starts cracking down on pro-Palestine streamers? I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. These kinds of actions, if kept quiet, the restrictions, in my opinion, look, a couple things. One, I think that humanity has a slant towards justice, right? No matter what happens. Like, I think people know right from wrong. And even if they are deluded, everyone has a yearning for emancipation and they will always move in that direction. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, that's not copium. That's just how history has always operated. Please, dude, look at the circumstances that we exist under. Like, people talk about how fucking sexist or reactionary, like, Americans have gotten. And then you compare it to, like, you know, the labor movement of the 60s and their assessment and their opinions back then. It's not like they were fucking woke back then. They were significantly more reactionary back then. So yes, ultimately there is absolutely is a very valid, very real emancipatory concern that people have, and there is a more progressive slant, a more progressive arc to justice, no matter what. The moral arc of history is long, but bends towards justice is exactly what I was paraphrasing poorly here. That's it. I think when people see stuff like this, they recognize it for what it is. Israeli authorities are responsible for crimes against humanity in Gaza. New Human Rights Watch report examines how Israeli authorities' conduct has led to the displacement of over 90% of Gaza's population and widespread destruction. You think people don't see it? You think people don't understand it? They do. And for the record, if you are familiar, look, I've been doing this for 10 years, okay? I've been doing this for 10 fucking years. I've been pro-Palestinian emancipation for 10 years. So I know, like, I know how much worse things used to be, okay? I'm telling you, overall, a lot more people are aware of the humanity of Palestinians and the plight of Palestinians. That is the reason why these kinds of reactions are occurring. It used to be so much worse, in my opinion. Hey, if you like this video, please subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss out on any future videos.